Something's brewing in Chicago that nobody saw coming, and Bears Nation, you need to hear this. Welcome back to Bears News Fan Report, your trusted source for the latest updates, breaking developments, and in-depth analysis on our beloved Chicago Bears. I'm bringing you something today that's going to shake up everything we thought we knew about this team's direction moving forward. Make sure you stick around until the end because what I'm about to reveal could have massive implications for our offensive line and our entire 2026 season. You know, when you've been following this team as long as I have, you start to recognize patterns. You start to see things developing before they hit the mainstream media. Right now, there's a situation unfolding that has me both concerned and cautiously optimistic about where this franchise is headed. We're talking about a player who's been absolutely fundamental to our recent success, someone who has become a cornerstone piece of our offensive identity, and yet whispers are starting to circulate that his future in Chicago might not be as secure as we all assumed. Let me take you back to the 2023 NFL Draft for a moment. That was a pivotal moment for this organization. We had the 9th overall pick, and the debate was raging among fans and analysts alike. Jalen Carter was sitting there, this generational defensive tackle talent from Georgia, and everyone was screaming for the Bears to take him. I'll be honest with you, I was intrigued by the possibility too. Carter had the kind of upside that makes general managers salivate, the type of player who could single-handedly transform a defense. But our front office went in a different direction, and at the time, it was controversial to say the least. They selected Darnell Wright, the offensive tackle from Tennessee. The reaction was mixed. Some understood the logic. Others were furious that we passed on Carter. But here's what the decision-makers saw that many of us missed in the moment. They identified a critical need and filled it with a player who had the physical tools and mental makeup to become elite at his position. Wright wasn't just a safe pick, he was the right pick for where this franchise needed to go. And over the past 2 seasons, he's validated that decision time and time again. Wright's development has been nothing short of impressive. As a rookie, he showed flashes of brilliance mixed with the expected growing pains. But this season, he's taken a massive leap forward. His pass protection has been rock solid. His run blocking has opened up lanes for our running backs consistently, and his ability to neutralize elite pass rushers has given Caleb Williams the time he needs to operate in the pocket. When you watch the film, you see a player who's not just holding his own, he's dominating his matchups. Pro Football Focus grades reflect this, showing him as one of the more consistent tackles in the entire league. Remember that game against the Eagles earlier this season? That was Darnell Wright's coming-out party on the national stage. Going up against Jalen Carter, the very player many wanted us to draft instead of him, Wright absolutely dominated. He pancaked Carter multiple times, controlled the line of scrimmage, and was instrumental in the Bears rushing for over 280 yards that day. It was poetic justice in a way, a definitive answer to all those who questioned the pick. Wright proved he belonged in that conversation as a top-tier offensive tackle, the kind of player you build your offensive line around for the next decade. But here's where things get complicated, and this is what I need you to understand. The NFL is a business, and sometimes the business side of football creates situations that seem counterintuitive from a purely football perspective. Wright is entering a critical phase of his career. He's proven his worth, established himself as a legitimate starting right tackle, and soon he'll be looking for a contract extension that reflects his value to this team. These contracts for elite offensive linemen have skyrocketed in recent years. We're talking about deals that approach or exceed $15 million annually for top-tier tackles. Now, the Bears front office is facing some serious decisions about resource allocation. They've invested heavily in building this roster. They've got Caleb Williams on his rookie deal, which provides cap flexibility, but they also have multiple key players coming up for extensions. Jalen Johnson needs to be paid, DJ Moore's contract needs consideration, and there are holes across the roster that require attention. This is where the speculation starts to get real, and I want to be very clear that what I'm about to discuss is based on league trends, financial realities, and conversations happening around the organization. There's a growing sense among those who follow the business side of the NFL closely that the Bears might be considering their options with Darnell Wright. Not because he hasn't performed, quite the opposite actually. It's because he's performed so well that his value on the trade market would be substantial. Teams desperate for offensive line help, and there are many of them, would be willing to pay a premium to acquire a young proven tackle who's still on his rookie contract. We're talking about potential first-round pick compensation, maybe even more depending on how negotiations would unfold. The logic from the team's perspective would go something like this. Wright has been fantastic, but offensive tackle might be a position where they feel confident they can find adequate replacement value through the draft or free agency at a lower cost. That saved money and acquired draft capital could then be redirected toward other positions of greater need, perhaps adding another pass rusher, bolstering the secondary, or investing in weapons for Caleb Williams. It's cold, calculated business thinking, the kind that makes sense on a spreadsheet, but feels wrong in your gut as a fan who's watched Wright develop into a star. I want to be absolutely clear about something. I'm not advocating for this move. Personally, I think Wright is exactly the type of player you keep and build around. Offensive line continuity is crucial for quarterback development, and Williams needs stability up front as he continues to grow. Trading away a player of Wright's caliber would be a risk, no matter what you get in return. But I also understand that general managers have to think 3, 4, 5 years down the road. They have to balance immediate needs with long-term roster construction, and sometimes that means making difficult decisions that aren't popular in the moment. What makes this situation even more complex is the success the Bears found with Gervin Dexter, the defensive tackle they selected in the second round of that same 2023 draft. Dexter has been solid, a legitimate starter who's contributed consistently. But he's not Jalen Carter, and that comparison will always linger. If the Bears were to move Wright, it would reignite all those debates about whether they should have just taken Carter in the first place. The optics would be challenging to manage, even if the football and financial logic was sound. So where does this leave us as we head into the crucial part of the season and look ahead to the offseason? The reality is that Darnell Wright's future with the Chicago Bears might not be as certain as we'd all like to believe. The business realities of the NFL, combined with the team's broader roster needs and financial constraints, create a scenario where moving him could be considered. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it's something that's being discussed in circles that matter, and Bears fans need to be prepared for that possibility. Here's what I think, and I want to hear your perspective on this too. Trading Darnell Wright would be a mistake unless the return is absolutely overwhelming. This is a young, ascending player at a premium position who's already proven he can perform at a high level. Those players don't grow on trees, and replacing him would be far more difficult than the front office might anticipate. Yes, the financial considerations are real, but so is the value of having an elite right tackle protecting your franchise quarterback. Bears Nation, I need to know where you stand on this. If the Bears were offered a first-round pick for Darnell Wright, would you take it? Do you think he's untouchable, or is everyone available for the right price? How would you feel about the front office prioritizing cap flexibility over keeping a proven starter? Drop all your thoughts in the comments below, because this is a conversation every Bears fan needs to be part of right now. If you want to stay on top of every development with this situation and get the fastest, most reliable updates on everything Chicago Bears, you need to subscribe to Bears News Fan Report right now and smash that notification bell. We're going to be tracking this story closely as we move through the season and into the off-season. Hit that like button if this video gave you valuable insight, and share it with every Bears fan in your life, because this could become the biggest storyline of our off-season. Until next time, bear down and let's keep believing in what we're building here in Chicago.